Hey there, Insomniacs. How are you doing on this Wednesday afternoon? My name is Ed, and welcome to the Insomniac Drive-In, your place where it's always somewhere in the 70s and 80s, and a place where you can forget about all your troubles for a little bit. We are doing Ghostbusters week. You are in luck because I think today you may end up getting two videos. This is the review of the original Ghostbusters movie, and then I think later tonight I'm going to try to post the Ghostbusters 2 review as we get closer to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire coming out this Friday. Very excited to go see it, and I think it's going to be a real lot of fun. So, Ghostbusters came out in the first weekend in first or second, must be the first weekend in June, of 1984. And wow, what a terrific movie this is. It stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Sigourney Weaver, Rick Moranis. The list goes on and on and on, and it's just God, it's such a good movie. It's easily one of my favorite comedy movies of the 80s. There's not a scene in it that fails to have something funny or something awesomely outlandish special effects wise. So it's just it's a great picture. The story, of course, is about the Ghostbusters, and there some strange happenings in New York City that lead the Ghostbusters to form. And we come to find out that this entity called Gozer wants to create its own hell on Earth atop a building in New York City, possessing Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis along the way, which is absolutely hilarious. Rick Moranis possessed is one of the funniest things I have ever seen. Just when he's with Harold Ramis and he's kind of mimicking the same thing he's doing. Bill Murray is amazing in this. I've always been a fan of his, and this I think is one of his last zany films. After this, he would do like Scrooged, and then I think in the 90s and onward, he took a little bit of a more serious role. I haven't actually seen a lot of his post original movies, which I very much like to. Dan Aykroyd is hilarious in this, kind of the straight man and the paranormal investigator extraordinaire. And you know what? It's pretty true to him because he has had some UFO experiences and he believes very much in the paranormal. So I think that was right up his alley. Harold Ramis is a great scientist. And I loved seeing him in his. The cast is great. The story, the script is just, I love the script so much. It's such a good story. I've said that about 5 times now. So I originally saw this when it came out in 1984. I did see it in the theater. And I remember that it was, that I hadn't seen anything like it before. Pardon me. I hadn't seen anything like this before on the screen. You know, we'd had some other paranormal films, but I think this was definitely a high watermark for paranormal films. I love, gosh, I love the set that is used for the end battle with Gozer. I think that set is very old Universal Hammer horror sci-fi stuff, and I think it's really brought me back. I was thinking of movies like any of the Mummy movies when they had huge temples. It reminded me of that. Like the Mummy's Hand, I think was one that had a really cool temple in it, if I remember. Um, the soundtrack was great. Of course, Ray Parker Jr. with the theme song. And the video was everywhere. And I remember the video because it was so, at the end, they had like all these celebrities doing the Ghostbusters song. You had Chevy Chase and you had just everybody. And of course, you know, they're dancing through New York City. And it was a lot of fun. It's just, I I think for a lot of us 80s kids, it's a cornerstone of imagination. And it's just adult enough where the kids can watch it and there's jokes that go over their head. So I think it's just it's one of those kind of films that the whole family can watch, and it has, as you get older, there's different things for you to enjoy. Let's look at the movies that were out the weekend of June 9th, 1984. I don't have the whole top 20 list, but I have a bunch of the movies that would obviously be inspirational to this channel. And number 20 was This Is Spinal Tap, which I never actually saw until I was an adult. It just wasn't one that was on my radar back then as a kid. I love it now. I think it's fantastic. I have the DVD of it, and the menu screen of the DVD is just awesome. Also, some of the ones that were in the top 20, you had Firestarter, the Stephen King movie with Drew Barrymore, which I loved. George C. Scott is in that one. The book and that version of the movie are top notch. Footloose was in there. Kevin Bacon, which I saw a little of in the theater. My dad, where we live near Colony, New York, and there was a movie theater called the Cine 1 through 8, and they were in the process of designing two more theaters for it, so it was going to be the Cine 1 through 10. And my dad helped design two of the movie theaters, his company, and he was there a lot, overseeing the design of the building and what they were doing with the theaters. So, I got to tag along every once in a while, and I remember going with him, and he's like, you can't stay for like a whole movie, but go sit in the theater while I take care of stuff. And Footloose was playing. And I remember going in the theater and taking a seat on like one of the end aisles. And I think it was the beginning, because it was when Kevin Bacon was dancing either in the warehouse or he's like in the wood corridor dancing. I remember that always stuck with me, and I never got to see Footloose again until later. But that beginning always stuck with me. Let's see, Police Academy was in the theater at the time. That was another great one. Romancing the Stone, which is, that's one of my favorites. And now here's the top four. That was the top four movies of June 9th, the weekend of June 9th, 1984. At number 4 was Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Wow. Number 3 was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I have a good story for that in the theater, but I'll save that. The number 2 movie was Gremlins, and the number 1 movie was Ghostbusters. Looking at that list, I don't think in today's age the movie theaters I don't think would allow that many blockbusters to be in the theater at the same time. The movie going audience is a lot different now than it was back then. Like, they so are concerned about that first weekend, and that seems to be like the only one that they're gunning to make sure they get their money, because there's the movie audience is different now, and they'll go opening weekend, and then kind of that's when they make the majority of their money. But back then, gosh, like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, that was out this weekend, but I don't think I saw it. I didn't see it for another month. And now I'm like, oh my God, there would be an Indiana Jones movie out. I got to go like right now. Hence, we're doing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire this weekend, and we're going Friday night, opening night. So it's amazing that all those movies were playing at the same time. That's why I think the summer of 1984 was one of the best summers for blockbusters. It's funny because Ghostbusters and Gremlins were two of the first movies that I taped off TV when we had a VCR. We did not have a VHS though. We had a Betamax. That's these days, I mean, Beta is long gone, but we had a Betamax, and I remember you could get like 2 movies on one of the tapes, and I taped Ghostbusters and Gremlins. They were probably on HBO close to each other because they had been in the theater at the same time. And I wore that tape out. I transferred it over to VHS once we got the VHS player, and now I know I got it in DVD, and I probably now it's streaming. So they're just movies that I've had pretty much in every format you can have. So the legacy of Ghostbusters, obviously, we had Ghostbusters 2 a few years later, which I'm gonna hopefully watch this evening, and then we had the Ghostbusters girl, all led by the girls of Saturday Night Live, which I've never seen, and then of course Afterlife, and now Frozen Empire. So the legacy of Ghostbusters is just it just keeps going, and I'm so glad that they're making another one. The character Walter Peck is going to be back in this one. I believe that's his name. He's such a tool in the first one, and such a good foil for Bill Murray. And I hope they have some scenes together in the new one. Something I'm really looking forward to. So that's about all I have to say about Ghostbusters. I love the film. It's one of the big 80s movies for me is Ghostbusters. I can't tell you how many times I have seen it, and yet I'll sit and I'll watch it again and again and again. It just has that rewatchability for me. So, I think that's all I got to say about Ghostbusters, but I do want to send a huge thank you out to all of you. This channel has been back for about a week now, and thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm having a great time doing this. I love being able to sit and talk to you. It's nice to hang out with you. It is. And another milestone was reached today for the channel. We now have 100 subscribers, so yay! Thank you. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do. I would love to see, not that it's a huge deal to me, but I would love to see this channel, get more subscribers, because then I can talk to more of you and have fun with more of you. So if you know anybody that would love this kind of stuff, please share it with them, and subscribe, and have a good evening. Watch the skies. Keep an eye out for Slimer, because he might be trying to steal your hot dogs. We'll find out if he's going to be in the new one. So I will hopefully see you later on this evening for a review of Ghostbusters 2, but Ghostbusters 1, absolutely fantastic. I love it. I give it 4 drive-in screens. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.